Hi there, welcome friend, welcome to Homekeepers. How wonderful to be with you today. I usually tell you, you know what I've just been doing? Well, same thing. I've been in my office reading your mail, and a letter this morning particularly touched my heart because it was from someone appreciating the fact that we have Carol Kent on once a month, you know, to talk about prisoners, and those who love them. And thank you. I'm always impressed when people take the time to do that. I want to thank you for that today. But we're going to talk about education today. Heide Janshon is back with us, and she is a substitute teacher. I mean, she does it so much, she's almost regular. She was in a campaign for a school board member for Pasco County here in Florida. We'll get an update of that. And a lot of things to talk about because keep getting things that's going on in the schools that we need to address. And there are really a lot of problems. And you know what you do? You face those problems, you try to fix them. And if you ask the Lord to help you, that's a good thing. That's what we'll do. And I'm so glad to have Wanda in here today, the egg drop soup. I'm trying to think how many years ago Wanda was regular with me in the kitchen for several years, and then health problems and other things kind of diverted her in another direction. But after all that time, we're always getting mails about Wanda, and then when we have her on, they say, glad she's been on again. So we get these wonderful feedback about Wanda and Stephanie and all, and I love them dearly, and all these people in here you cannot see. God's given us a wonderful team. Well, anyway, Wanda's here, and we're going to fix an egg drop soup. It's so embarrassing. It's embarrassingly simple. That's what it is. And so we'll show you how to fix that. And after I tell you once again, and we've used programs to tell you about the Red Letter Words of Jesus. It's a wonderful book. I've had people order 10 and 15 of these for gifts. And I thought I'd just offer it today on this program. It's yours for that gift of $15 to the program. You can write to us. That address is there, but I've got it memorized. And it's Homekeepers, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758. And if you use your credit card, it's 1-800-229-0059. All right, and here she is. Wanda, welcome back to Homekeepers.
Thank you. I really haven't been away.
No, she hasn't been anywhere. But there were just circumstances she couldn't come here and do this. And so now we have to beg her to do it. She says she's not going to do it, but then she does. So thank you for that.
Yeah, because ultimately, see, you're my boss.
Yeah.
I have to do what you want me to.
Hey, before we get into this, because it's a quick one, we have a picture.
Okay.
And sometimes Stephanie and I put pictures up there, you know, we talk about them, and a lot of interesting stuff goes on. And oh, there it is. Okay, the way we were, that's when my sister got married. Okay. That's my husband and my children. Mm-hmm. And that little boy there now has eight grandchildren. Yeah. And Meredith has 2 boys in their 20s. And the tights on Michael.
Yeah, that was my comment.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. His cousin was also a ring bearer.
Tights. Yeah. It must have been that.
Leotards.
Leotards.
Yeah.
Stockings.
Yeah, and his cousin hated it too.
Oh, okay.
But Lori just told me that at the gym, the guys are wearing them underneath their...
Really?
Yeah, underneath their workout clothes. So anyway...
well, I guess every generation has something. My son... when he was 3, I used to put, you know, they look like engineer pants with an engineer hat, and he hated it. But he's in his 40s. He still tells me about it. Mom, why would you do that to me?
Okay, we have 2 cans of chicken broth boiling here.
And we brought it to a boil. Now we just reduced it. And then we're going to take a tablespoon of the sodium.
Is that cornstarch?
No. Well, this is cornstarch. This is 2 teaspoons of the cornstarch.
Oh, but it's
this is soy sauce, and we're going to mix this together.
Which is going to give that a wonderful kick of a flavor.
Well, it's got to have something. This is the only kick it's got.
I know this is so easy. It's embarrassing. So if we didn't have this soy sauce in it, I don't know what it would taste like.
Yeah, it would need a little bit of help, I think.
Yep.
So what this is going to do is give it the flavor and the thickening, which is what you're going to need to have. And I'm going to put some of this in here to get all that wonderful good stuff out. And then How long do we have for this recipe? How long? How long do we have?
We don't have long. That's why we always hurry.
Okay. Well, that
that goes on the top?
Yes.
Okay.
That goes
this is
on top.
egg substitute.
It is egg substitute, and it's a half a cup of this. And you're really supposed to wait for this to thicken, but...
By the way, this is out of a diabetic cookbook, and that's the reason they use the egg substitute, because they don't want the cholesterol of the eggs. So you have to drop it slowly, right?
Yeah, and then always go one direction. I actually looked it up to see why. It can't even give you it.
They don't tell you why?
Although it just works into the soup better, going one direction. I guess, I don't know. That was just my comment. I couldn't. I thought, well, why does it have to be one direction? But I know one of our viewers out there are going to write to us and tell us the reason why you go one direction. It probably because it helps the eggs get cooked through it, but who knows?
Well, we'll see. We challenge the viewers for that.
And you get to taste this wonderful, yummy stuff.
Well, if it tastes like I think it will, you could probably serve this as a little appetizer at home, and they would think you really,
I recall you did a lemon egg drop soup once, didn't you?
A long time ago, yeah.
But that was good. The flavor of that was really good. Well, I think
that egg's
since
done.
I've never made this before.
And so you just put it in there with a little onion on it,
Yeah,
little
you top it
green
with
onion.
Go ahead and just try it. Yeah, it looks right.
Well, it looks like egg drop. All right.
All right, and put some green onion on top.
Ooh, there we go. All right. If this is good, I'm telling you, you want this recipe. What could be simpler? Actually, it's very good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. So you're talking about 4 items.
Yeah.
If you want this recipe, it's for free, so just watch the information that's coming on your screen. If you do write in for it, it helps a little bit. If you can send a little offering, because we're getting kind of swamped with them. And or email is the best. That information will be there. And then if you haven't met Heidi, you're going to love her.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Well, if you haven't met Heide Janshon, I'm glad to have her back. She's been coming on the show well over a year, 2 years.
Oh my goodness, I think we're going on 2.5 or 3, something like that.
Yes, and she is a professional singer for one thing, but she has 2 children in school, and you're more than qualified to be a substitute teacher, so you really keep pretty busy.
Oh my goodness, I'm very busy.
And you're in enough different classes to get a good overview. Yeah.
6th grade through 12th grade right now, primarily.
Well, I bet you've had a baptism of education.
Oh, can we say that again? Yes.
The last time she was on, we were talking about the fact that she was planning to run for a school board, and I'm glad she did, and probably learned a lot. She's the type of person we need on the school board. She's very detailed. She looks into everything and cause and effect and all that. She did not win this time, so what happened?
Well, the incumbent who occupied the seat for 8 years won another term, and she was backed by the big political machine. So, as we say, I think that happens in every county, is there are the chosen, and the chosen then are underwritten by special interest groups, in our case, builders, architects, and land developers, and Tallahassee politicians.
Yeah, and I wonder what is in the game for them on the school board level. Now, there are other political offices you could understand.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Really?
I mean, there's a lot of approval. Think about it. In Pasco County, the Pasco County budget is $1.2 billion. $1.2 billion.
Okay, I get it. So there's a lot of contracts there.
Yes, there are.
Well, we probably should say that for someone like yourself, a novice when it comes to running for office, we could say that.
Yes.
Great learning experience, and who knows what the future holds.
I made a lot of friends, and I'll have to say I did receive the Republican Executive Committee of Pasco County's endorsement in the 9th hour, which wasn't a sufficient time for them to have gotten to the people who mail in their ballots. So if they had, then the outcome might have been a little bit different. And the chairman of that committee said, you know, every time you speak, you win votes.
So I think overall it's a real positive. I say that because I wonder how many just good citizens say, I think I'll run for that office. I wonder how many they win on the first try. Probably a very small percentage.
I don't think many. Yeah, you've got to get your name out there. It's got to be that name recognition. And of course the funding. So.
Well, that's one of the things we were going to talk about today. Driving to the office earlier this week, there was a piece on the news about what the schools needed, but I want to go back a little bit before that. I actually still have a newspaper every morning. Now, it's a pathetic paper. It's the Tampa Bay Times. It used to be the St. Petersburg Times, and it was a great paper. It won so many awards, but people don't buy newspapers anymore.
No, they don't. They read online.
I know it, but I'm an old lady. So I kid you not, there's at least 6 or 7 full-page color ads. They must not cost all that much. So there you go. But anyway, I did read in this pathetic paper about teachers who could not pass the test.
Yep.
So we're very low on teachers in this area, because what was the test?
So let's talk about that test. Okay, so there is an exam for recertification in order for teachers to keep their teaching certificate. They are not only tested on, say for instance, you've been teaching language arts for 25 years. And then you get to the recertification process and you are tested on general knowledge of science, math, we're talking algebra probably, and every other subject, history, math, and so the core subjects. You're tested on all of that, but you've been teaching language arts for 25 years. So you have to study to be up to par on all the other subjects. So what we're doing is, and what I see it as, is that there is, and I haven't researched this, but I believe that it's probably true, is that there's a weeding out of teachers who have tenure, who've been in the field for a long time. Okay, so how better to weed them out than to have them take an exam out of field?
I'll give them a test
and
that they
fail.
couldn't pass.
That's right. You're setting them up for failure, and therefore they lose their teaching contract because they can't pass that test.
Well, it was a huge percentage that flunked. And I thought, I just had this big question mark. I thought, our teachers can't be that bad. I meet a lot of them.
No.
I'm telling you, teachers are the most conscientious. I'd say the greatest percentage of them. They're kind of like nurses.
Yeah.
You get a nurse that's really called, you got a good nurse. And I think teachers are called. The good ones are called. There's no question about it.
They are.
And I couldn't figure out why.
So
maybe
it's the same thing with now our teachers are on annual contracts as opposed to receiving tenure. So granted, if you look at some teachers, they have become a little complacent in their jobs after 20-something years, and perhaps it is time for them to seek, retirement or something like that. But for the most part, you see them all, they're passionate about what they do. They love the students and they love their field. But then in this case, there have been so many who have now lost their certification and can't teach.
Well, that, and I couldn't figure out why. Because they were experienced teachers.
Yeah, our Commissioner of Education, Pam Stewart, was approached by a a reporter who tried over and over again to contact her and finally cornered her at a meeting. And she's not a nice person when she is cornered.
None of us are.
And so therefore she was less than kind to this reporter, but she said, well, if we just don't have qualified teachers and they're not qualified, then they don't deserve to be teaching.
I know, but what do you do when sometimes classes are too big anyway?
Listen,
what do you do with the children?
Oh, I have classes, the 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, that we're capping 30, and our classroom size is 22, but they're using the class size average to get through that little loophole that they've now made into a ginormous rip.
Well, I think your average citizen doesn't know, and I don't know many things that could possibly be more important in a government and society than schools, which brings me to another heartbreaking subject to me, that teachers are not paid properly. That it's a huge disparity.
I have some statistics here that they were posted, and it says public school teachers earned average weekly wages of $1,137 in 2017, while all other college graduates working full-time earned $1,476 per week. So this was according to a report by the Economic Policy Institute, and even after controlling for various factors that affect pay, such as education, age, and years of experience, teachers still earned 18.7% less than comparable workers.
Yes, and that's something wherever you live all over the United States. I'm sure that varies, but it's something to be very, very concerned about. A couple of other things, and one of them, because I researched a little bit to find out what are the problems in the schools, and there's a lot of them, but one of them that was like a dagger in my heart, it was the school shootings. That people, parents, your school administrators, your teachers are all, that shouldn't have to be anywhere in that file cabinet in their head.
And now it's right up front, first and foremost. So now we're right in the midst of football season, right? So at our high school, Mitchell High School in Pasco County now, we have a new policy in place where women can only carry clear bags. Ziploc bags or clear bags. So at our school advisory council meeting this morning at the high school, I said, well, we should be called the TSA, the Trinity, what is it called? The Safety Administration, the TSA, like they have in the airports, because that's pretty much what you're doing when you're coming into football games now. They are searching everything. You can't bring water bottles, you can't bring any bags, everything has to be clear plastic.
Right, and then when you think of funding for the teachers' salaries and all, it costs a lot to make things safe. If they have to put metal detectors in and hire someone,
it's a trade-off.
Hire someone.
Yep.
So I bring this up so that just to be aware, it means a lot. And of course, Christians, you can pray. I think you can pray angels around your school. I think you can pray
absolutely.
protection
I did that
around
this morning.
your school. And maybe you don't think about it when you see the school bus goes by, but I remember when Meredith, my daughter, she's the younger one, I think she walked to school 6 blocks alone.
And now you
never thought a thing about it.
No. We walked to school too. We walked to elementary school. It was further than 6 blocks.
Yeah, and then they talk about chronic absenteeism. I tell you, parents, hello, that's not the school's fault.
No.
And so what we're going to do is dumb down the American culture, and you can be easily taken over when you're dumb.
Well, here's the thing, Arthelene. Our middle school, Seven Springs Middle School in Pasco County, I'm also on the school advisory council there, and our meeting last week, we talked about we are at an all-time high of absentees. So an English teacher who is also on the council, she's an 8th grade English teacher, and she said in the first 3 weeks of school, she had 97 individual absences from her 120 students. 97. There was no pattern. There was no It wasn't like they all went on cruises with their families to finish out the summer. It was just random here and there. It wasn't all at the weekend. It was in the middle of the week. And
what conclusion do they come to?
They were thinking that we have a lot of kids who are left at home in the mornings while their parents go to work, and possibly their parents aren't ensuring that they're going to work, and possibly Johnny Jr. and Sally Sue message their mom and say, "Mom, I didn't feel good, so I just stayed home from school today." And the mom goes, "Oh, okay."
That's horrible. That's just
because they're bus riders. So my kids, we don't even think about missing school. My kids don't. That's not even a thought in their head. Even if they have a little sniffle, if they don't have a fever,
yeah, the absenteeism. I would say don't blame the school. Don't dare blame the school. That's a problem at home. And here's a good one: social and emotional learning. I don't think that has any place in the school. That's the home. That's what you teach at home. You teach sex at home. You teach values at home. And there's so much that they learn that it's, taken away that God-given right of the parents.
Let me tell you, Arthelene, just the other day, maybe it was yesterday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Looking at an 8th grade student who had shorter shorts than she should have had on, and she had more cleavage showing than I've seen in quite a while, sitting right in front of me, and I'm thinking, holy cow, what in the world? Parents buy these clothes. These are not little girls anymore. And those are the things that we really, you just have to look at homecoming pictures to see what the parents post and how the girls are dressing. I've seen shorter dresses with more backs and more cleavage showing than I've seen in the clubbing scene. I never clubbed. I just don't even, I'm like, who buys those for them? And they go, "Oh, look at my beautiful daughter." And I'm guys, what are you thinking? What are we setting our little girls up for?
Yes, you cannot blame the school for the things that are birthed in the home, really, and the values. And it's so important that you raise children in the fear of the Lord, and along with that comes good manners. Along with that comes obedience to the right people and all. And I was just thinking of Andre Crouch's song, "People Need the Lord," for so many reasons, not just for heaven, but to navigate this earth as it should.
I think there's so much deception out there right now, Arthelene, that the lines have been blurred, that the unsaved believe that they're saved, and that there are people out there that are good people that don't know the Lord, but they think they do. And I think the deception, and that's where the lines get blurred. I've heard quotes this week that I've just blow your mind about what people say. I will say right here, for the record, I cannot endorse or support any platform that that propagates and promotes abortion. I just can't. I cannot.
No. Or vote for people who promote it. Yes, boy, we could talk all week, but I'd just like to bring some of these things to you because, we get in our lane and we go through life and all, and do not realize things that teachers put up with, and the school system, when the education has got to be one of the most important things in any society, in any nation, in any country, and it should have our full support and our prayers, and to get in there when things are not as they should be. Hey, you stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Okay, let me again mention these wonderful red letter words of Jesus. We've offered them to you before, and Stephanie and I talk a lot about having a gift closet. This would be a perfect item to put in that. So use the 800 number for your credit cards, or write to us and we'll get it out to you pronto. Okay, thank you. You know, I don't ever remember my parents asking me, "How was school today?" And I know they didn't ask which of the subjects we covered. That wouldn't have been necessary because they knew what we studied each day. Things like reading, math, science, literature, home ec, and history. But things are much different today, and it would be well advised for parents to dig deep to find out what exactly is going on in our public schools. Some very disturbing information has come across my desk in recent months describing new subjects being added to the curriculum, especially subjects promoting a special social agenda. Some schools on the West Coast have encouraged gay and transgender classes for very young students. And just recently I was told of a field trip to Planned Parenthood. A recent news outlet printed a story of a primary school in England. Now, don't let that location bother you. It could happen here, too. But this is about a teacher who gave an assignment to write a fairy tale love letter to someone of the same sex, ending with a marriage proposal. The children in this school wear gender-neutral uniforms. They find sex without marriage and any type of living arrangement to be okay. Children as young as 6 are taught to explore, clarify, and challenge their own and others' values, attitudes, rights, and responsibilities. In other words, it's not necessary to obey your parents. One Britisher took exception to this practice and suggested the children be taught genuine life skills. Teach them how to do laundry, how to cook, manage money. Knowing about bank accounts and mortgages would serve them well. Are we really living in Sodom? Not sure. However, I suggest to all parents and grandparents, ask the students in your family, how was school today? And be sure to dig for those details. Think about it, friend, and remember, there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.
Well, I'm going to tell you where my hope is. My hope is not in an organization. My hope is not in a plan. My hope is not in a treaty. My hope is in a man, a person that sits at the right hand of God the Father, the Lord Jesus Christ. And my hope is centered totally, completely in Him.